So my issue with Betty's teacup Yorkies is that on July 8th, I picked up a puppy from LAX that I had purchased from them who was sick and dying from a stomach ulcer. He died a week later. They have been very nasty. They have not tried to help me with any sort of reimbursement. His autopsy, they've had 3 weeks to rectify the situation. They have done nothing. They have only tried to blame me and turn the situation around on me. And their company needs to be held accountable for animal abuse and also for frauding people out of thousands and thousands of dollars. So let's hold them accountable. Basically, I picked up the puppy on July 8th, okay, from LAX. So I live in San Francisco. So I drove down to Los Angeles to pick him up, okay? I picked him up. He was on flight number KE011 from the airport in South Korea directly to LAX. He was flown on the East Asia Air Express Incorporated cargo flight. So, I mean, that's very traumatic. I definitely thought there was going to be a puppy nanny or something like that to make sure that he was fed during the trip. But no, so he was sent on a cargo flight. He was also sent in a little cage with no food. So there was water, but no food. The food was taped in a plastic bag on the top of the cage where he had no access to it. The flight direct is 12 hours at least. So if there was even a stop or anything, at the very minimum, he went 12 hours without eating. Okay. And then when I picked him up, he looked very bad. So after this flight, he was covered, he was yellow, literally yellow, covered in his own pee. He had not eaten for 12 hours. Let's see here. So he had water. Hi, love. He had water, but he had no food. Okay. Let's see here. So he was not doing good at all when I first picked him up. So that was like the first problem. And then so we decided basically to stay in Los Angeles for the night. Because I thought that basically, with the traveling from South Korea and another drive back to San Francisco would be a little bit too much for him. So we got a hotel, me and my partner, who is witness to all of this, and we stayed the night. At first, he started eating well. He was very hungry when he first got off the flight. Okay. I gave him a small breed puppy food that I brought, and I mixed that with the food that they put on the top of his cage. So the food I gave him is Nulo, small breed puppy, wet formula, duck, and chickpea. So really, really good, a high protein content, vegetables, and very, very high quality puppy food. Okay. And then he was doing pretty well. So this is, I mean, not well, but I mean, I figured he was just really traumatized, like from the flight, and that he needed to eat and he needed to rest, So that's what I was thinking. And even though he looked sick, his fur too was like not like they sent me a picture. His fur didn't look like that at all. His fur was like thinning. He looked horrible. He was like skin and bones. It was really sad. So I was like, okay, he needs like a warm environment. He needs food, good food. He needs to be cleaned, have toys, like rest, like all of these things. And then he should start getting better. Like, like any puppy needs at all times, So let's see here. So he was okay, like not great, but he started doing a little better. He was very hungry. He ate like almost a can that first day when I got him on the 8th. He started steadily like declining, worse than that. And on the day of the 14th was when he started to vomit, refused to eat. And so I rushed him to the vet. Okay. This is 6 days after I got him. Okay. So I rushed him to the vet here in San Francisco. I initially paid them $1,000 and they did refund some of my money, which was really nice of them because I think they knew at that point they could not save him. They were not able to stabilize him. And it was very sad. So then after that was the 14th, okay? For the rest of the day on the 14th, the 15th, I was off both of those days. I had to bottle feed him chicken broth. He wouldn't eat anything else. I'd already tried like a syringe alternating that the breeder had recommended me to do. So, alternating a syringe of Nutri-Cal and a syringe of water. And that wasn't working. That wasn't reviving him. So I tried that. And then they said, try honey. So I tried a little bit of honey. That did not work. Nothing was reviving him. This was before, actually, I took him to the veterinarian. So then I rushed him to the veterinarian. I took him home. The only thing that he would eat is chicken broth, bottle fed, which I bought, to feed to him. I went to the pet store because they were like, oh, it's his diet. You're not feeding him the right thing, blah, blah, blah. Even though it's like extremely high quality dog food that like money can buy, the best that money can buy. So no fillers or anything like that. So I bought this chicken broth and some bottles and I bottle fed him. The 14th, it was horrible. The 14th, the 15th, and then the 16th, I had to work, but I had to leave work early. I could only stay at work, and my work can confirm that. I had to leave to take care of him. So I left work. I told him, I cannot stay, and, I need to go, like, save my puppy's life, basically. Like, so I fed him, again, more chicken broth from the bottle, and then later that evening, probably around, I would say 9:30, 10 o'clock, he started, he had this, basically like this very, very traumatizing, like, how do I say, incident. Like, he started making this noise and like crying out, okay? And crying out, and it was almost like he was about to like jump back to life. Like he started crying out and moving his hands or his paws and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like he's about to jump back to life, right? But he didn't. He made this sound and like moving around and stuff like he was about to, and then he didn't. And then he stopped. He stopped breathing, and then he started foaming out of his nose and out of his mouth. And at that point, I rushed him again to the emergency veterinarian, and they pronounced him dead. And that was the 16th. That was on the 16th that he passed away. And the company has been, in a nice way, less than helpful. So as soon as I let them know that he was getting sick, that he was like not getting sick, but that he was like vomiting and like dying, basically, that's when they became very nasty. Like, well, why didn't you communicate with us? And I'm like, actually, I've communicated with you every step of the way. And I have this very well documented. I have everything documented. I have bank receipts. I have all of his paperwork, his shipping paperwork from South Korea, receipts for gas, receipts from the veterinarian, receipt from the pathologist. That's the person that did his autopsy. I have receipts for all that, and I kindly asked them if they would like to help me pay for the autopsy before that, and they declined. So, that's okay. But yeah, they said kindly and respectfully, would you like to help me pay for the autopsy, which was $1,500? And they said, we don't cover any veterinarian costs or autopsy costs. Okay, well, I'm getting him an autopsy anyways, because I want to know what the cause of his death is. I've had other dogs, and I have actually like a wonderful little puppy right here that I've had for months that's in very good health. I'll even show you. So they tried to make it like I was this neglectful person. Say hi. Yay! So, and I want to show you also her environment where she lives. Then Marshmallow had an area just like this. Let me see how I can. So he has like a little bed. I'm trying to see how I can show you. Hold on. So just so you can see that I'm a very responsible like pet owner. I'm like trying to show you without being in it. So like little toys, potty pads, like a bed, really, really like safe, warm, comfortable, really, really good food at all times, fresh water, bowls cleaned daily. So I take very good care of my animals because I don't have children, so they're like my children. So, anyways, so then they started, so then the autopsy. So then I got the autopsy, and they sent me a preliminary autopsy, which states that his cause of death was a 1 centimeter ulcer in his stomach. Okay. So they tried to basically blame me for this ulcer that he was having and tried to basically deny any sort of wrongdoing. And they also were very nasty about it. Not only were they not apologetic, even or take any sort of responsibility, um, they were nasty. They were downright nasty and rude. And also, when I sent them the preliminary autopsy, they did not respond for 6 days. I sent it to them on Saturday, July 25th, and they did not respond until the 31st, which is actually the day that I resent the preliminary autopsy because they had not responded to me. And that was the 6th day, so like a week. And then I was like, no, you need to give me some sort of response right now and they need to take responsibility for what happened. So I contacted them again and sent them the preliminary autopsy again 6 days after. And then that's when they responded. And again, still being like very nasty, still trying to put the blame on me, not being apologetic, not trying to get me a refund. And they said they were trying to get me another puppy, which one I would not be comfortable with after the situation. And I would never accept another puppy from their company. And after reading more reviews, because I did a little research before, but I guess not enough because I found many complaints after about this same company. And it was just a horrible experience. As soon as I had given them the preliminary autopsy, then they got really nasty. They were pretty nasty the whole time, but then they really got nasty, and that's when they really started trying to avoid me. And the thing is that I'm a supervisor at my job. I'm a manager. So I'm really good at conflict resolution and customer complaints. I know how things should be handled well. And so I try to quickly resolve issues when we have them. So, to me, it's unacceptable to have him have passed away and then they've gone all this time and have not tried to reimburse my money. They have not sent me a new puppy, which at this point I don't want. I no longer want anything from their company. But hey baby. So she keeps trying to get my attention. She always wants my attention. So I think it's unacceptable, and to me it clearly shows, because you do legally have to give the company a nice amount of time to try to make it right. But to me, if he passed away on the 16th and we're now of July and we're now in August, that's too much time. That's more than enough time to either have sent me a new puppy, which I don't want at this point, or to have refunded my money. So I don't like the way that they resolve the conflict. And then to make it even worse, so once I realized that they weren't going to be helpful, they weren't going to give me my money back, they weren't going to try to rectify the situation, I put my review up because I think that other consumers should be aware. I don't want anyone else to, spend that type of money and have to call out from work and miss work to be trying to save a dying puppy that you just got a week before this. So I don't think anyone should really have to go through that situation. And so I decided to write the very honest and documented review. And everything in there is factual. And their company, or, the Joanne and the other person that run their company, Betty's Teacup or whatever, they wrote me this like very nasty messages the day after, like a series of messages right after, very nasty, like swearing, things that I as a manager would never do when I'm trying to rectify a situation and continue to solidify the loyalty of that client and make them happy and make them keep coming back. I think it's unacceptable to be swearing and using foul language like that. I think it is unacceptable for them to be trying to, it was like an attempt to bully me, I feel like, and try to get me to take the review down, which I'm not going for. I'm not going to let a bully try to make me feel like, oh, take the review down. No. You don't tell me what to do. Your company, I've read the reviews. They've frauded a lot of people out of thousands and thousands of dollars. So no, I'm not going to take my review down. Other people should know. So that, and then hopefully maybe somebody in law enforcement will catch on to that as well, honestly, because when you're scamming people out of like $7, $8, $10,000 and you've done this, there's at least 8, 9, 10 reviews. That's a good $100,000 that you frauded out of people. And that is now a legal issue. And it's also an animal rights issue. If you are selling sick, dying puppies from a place that sells them with genetic disorders, that sells them sick, that sells them and sends them via cargo airplane with no food for at least 12 hours. No, that's not acceptable. That's animal abuse, and that needs to be held accountable. I don't like any of that. And I'm a huge animal lover and advocate. So having that whole situation go down like that was not only traumatic and upsetting, it was completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable on so many different levels.
How would you estimate your total monetary loss?
$10,000. And I have it well documented because I included the price of the puppy. I included the first veterinarian expense. And actually, I only, they initially charged me $1,000. They refunded some of my money. So I only charged or added on to the bill, or this amount, what they actually charged me. So the first veterinarian, the autopsy, the travel time, the hotel that I had to, it was like a motel, so it's very inexpensive, that I had to get to go down to Los Angeles, There was a $300 pickup fee from customs to get him. Gas. What else? I have a whole breakdown of the cost, but yeah, that is the majority. That is let's see here. Let's see here. I have it all completely itemized. Let's see here in my little agenda, and I can find it for you. But yeah, that's basically what it is. The price of the puppy, the price of the customs pickup, the first veterinarian, the autopsy, and then my travel expenses to take him there, take him back, and the hotel, and it came out to like $10,000 because the puppy itself was $7,000. They gave me a small discount. They gave me a 10% discount, which I included in that $10,000 because I had a friend who purchased a puppy from them. And so they gave me like a referral discount. So I included that. And also, the person that referred me is actually now having issues with his puppy as well, to be honest with you. Her name is Chibi, and she's a very sweet dog, but she's also after, and I'll let him tell that story, but he did want me to bring it up today. But he's also having issues with her, which he believes are genetic. Like she's having issues with her knees, and she's still a puppy as well, which is probably genetic, and he's having that tested as well. Because she's gonna need a surgery. His puppy, he's had her, I believe, like about a year, and she's gonna need a surgery for $6,300. So he's trying to prove that that was genetic as well to hold the company responsible because they're clearly selling very sick dogs, not bred well and are not healthy, and their parents are probably not healthy, and frauding people and taking their money and then not living up to their contract because their website says that they have puppies of stellar health, and they absolutely are not. And you can read like countless reviews of people that have said the same thing. But I made sure because I wanted there to be proof that everything was documented. And I have receipts. I have proof of everything, of all the wire transfers that I did. There were also international transaction fees each time. I factored that in as well to the $10,000. So yeah, it was about $10,000, and that's not even like seeking emotional damages or anything for watching him suffer for days, dying for days, and trying to revive him in every possible way that I could. So that's not even including anything like that. That's just strictly the money that I paid out of pocket for the puppy. So